company. That's what the wise man said.
This is going to be very difficult to talk about, and genuinely no bullshit, triggering probably for a lot of people. But I made a promise to people to be honest about my depression, and I know people who watch the misery videos or keep an eye on my blogs and stuff do draw strength from knowing that they're not alone. So take from that what you will, and viewer/listener discretion is advised, I suppose. I had been doing so much better, and that's what's made this so hard, I guess. I've been off medication for a while. I've been coping. All the tools and stuff I've learned to cope with it have been enough for a long time. I've been phasing out of going to therapy because I've been getting less and less benefit from it. So getting knocked back like this to square one pretty much is a really heavy blow, and kind of contributed to how bad it was. I mean, depression's like a kind of background radiation of sadness, but then when something bad happens, it hits you that much harder, and you have much less energy or capability to cope with it. And I've been hit with two very bad things. Can't really go into too much detail for sake of other people, but a friend died and was buried, cremated, last week. Another friend of mine who I care very, very much about, has turned out to be in a really horrible situation that I don't seem to be able to help them with. And that's a horribly impotent feeling to have when someone is in an absolutely shitty situation, someone you would happily sacrifice for and do just about anything for, and that will to help, the extent that you go to, that's not enough, because they've got themselves into that situation, and then at the end of the day only they can get out of it themselves, and all you can do is give them options, and you're just left just kind of hanging in limbo, waiting to hear and hoping they do what's right for them, even if it's not what's right for you. You just want them to be safe. And so both these things have kind of knocked me around a lot. And when you've got that background radiation of feeling shit, something like a death hits you incredibly hard, and then it kind of multiplies together, because you can't, the dead are beyond help, so you want to help the people who are alive, and you feel that you ought to be able to, and then you can't, and that's a fucking horrible feeling. So what do you do? Oh, apparently, if you're out of your mind with grief and depression and can't see any way to make a difference to the person that's in trouble, apparently what you do is you decide to kill yourself. So that's how low I was on Thursday. And I'd already resorted to cutting to try and turn emotional pain into a physical pain and a wound that you can see heal. It's hard to explain, but that's kind of my last resort before suicidal ideation. So then on Thursday I realised I couldn't muster the amount of will it would take to actually slit my wrists. So I figured I needed something where you only have to hold your will for, half a second, and that's enough. So I got in my car and I drove to the local railway station, and I walked down to the far end of the platform before the train slowed down, and I sat there, and this was the day of the funeral, so I was kind of half trying to make myself go and half trying to summon the willpower to kill myself by throwing myself in front of a train. So I'm there and I can barely think, and I want someone to stop me. I want someone to turn up and to stop me, and at the same time I also just want to fucking die. You know? Someone's gone, I can't even muster the will to go to their funeral and say goodbye and see all the other people who are upset that they're gone. And I'm back down in this black fucking pit of depression, and this is going to be my life now. I'm not going to recover. I have to learn to cope and deal and carry on regardless of it for the rest of my life. And that just, I don't feel that bad anymore, but that just feels insurmountable, And one of the few people I know that can cut through all this bullshit and make me feel okay is in this shitty situation, and I can't do anything to get them out of it. And I somehow got this bizarre idea in my head, out of my mind, that me dying would somehow make everything better for everybody else. It would provide an impetus to get this person I care about out of their situation. It would mean that people wouldn't have to deal with my bullshit anymore. It would mean I would escape this life of misery with occasional patches of okayness. Doesn't sound too appealing, does it, really? And it would free people from me to go on with their lives and be happy and not have to support me and look after me all the time. So that's where I was, and I couldn't form a coherent thought, so I was just, each train that I tried to force myself to get in front of, I was posting pictures of it, trying to get someone to come and stop me, or to jolt myself out of it, or kind of to beat myself up for being a coward and not being able to keep that will. I got close. I got really close. And nobody came. Nobody apparently was watching the CCTV cameras. no police showed up. Nobody on the platform thought it was odd that there was this guy at the other end of the platform pacing and sitting down and crying to himself. Nobody did anything. It's just in the end I didn't have the will to do it. There were a few messages kind of asking, are you okay? But I barely remember them. That was the extent to which anyone tried to stop me, really, In the end I just didn't have the will, and I went home feeling like I'd failed somehow. I look back just a couple of days and it's terrifying how fucked in the head I was, and how the hell did any of that make sense? But at the time it did. It made perfect sense. It seemed like the right thing to do. I don't know. I still feel fucking terrible, but not bad enough to hurt myself. But I just want to be honest with people, and I know my fellow travellers who are also struggling really get something out of knowing that someone else understands and gets it and shares these experiences, even if they're shitty, So I don't know, even if I can't help myself, really, I want to be able to help other people still. And I want to be able to stick up the middle finger at people who say that we do it for attention or something, I just... yeah, fuck those guys. So I don't know. I'm gonna stick around, try and make some changes, do something different. I've got therapy this afternoon. I'll talk to them. I'll talk to my doctor again, but I really don't want to go back on the meds. They fuck with me so bad. But if you have to, you have to, So I don't really know what the point of this video is. I want other people to know they're not alone. I want people to know that I'm still here. I want people to know the truth about what was going on, because I tried to hide it from people, and that's in the short term that's good because you don't want too much fuss, but in the long term you got to let people know, and you got to let people help you. My friends, who I didn't think I was so close to anymore, came out, got me, took me away for the weekend, watched over me, made sure I was okay. There's always someone out there to look after you, and take advantage of it. No matter how alone and how cut off and marginalized and upset you are, reach out. There's somebody out there who'll take care of you.